Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, not particularly an educational video, more a video that's fun, that I just wanted to rant about. That is, I'm going to tell you about the worst job, by far the worst, that I've ever worked in the watch industry. A company that, it was just awful. All that and more in today's episode. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing my new beater watch, the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80 with the green dial. You guys know I just got this, gonna make a review on it, absolutely love it. And also, guys, don't forget to check out DelReyWatch.com. A bunch of cool watches just came in, including an H. Moser Pioneer with the Mad Red dial. Cheapest one in the country. I have the green dial myself. I love it. A Breguet Marine in gold. Box, papers, great shape. Guess what? Also the cheapest one in the country. And a very rare, which should sell quick, JLC Master Geographic from the Sector Dial series, only made for a year or two. Very neo-vintage inspired and very, very cool. This one should go quick. So guys, for those of you that have been following the channel a while, you know my entire career has pretty much been in the watch industry. Started at retail, I've worked for Cartier, I've worked for Tourneau, I've worked for Vempe, then I became a wholesale manager for Richemont at Piaget for North America. Then after that, I had a short little stint at Watchbox, and then I created Del Rey Watch along with my partner, John Petrus. And along the way, I can tell you that pretty much every job was fantastic in its own way. I loved it. Working for Richemont was a dream of mine. Working for Vempe was, honestly, the best retail experience ever. Cartier, the kings of training, they trained me from nothing to, who I am today. Everybody had some good things about them. Apart from one which, I'll never regret an experience, but thinking back, boy, was it just a shit job, excuse my language. And that was Tourneau. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying Tourneau is now owned by Bucherer, and Bucherer is a very well-respected company. Hopefully, they're changing a lot of things at Tourneau. When I worked at Tourneau, it was not owned by Bucherer. So all the things that I'm going to talk about don't necessarily apply today that I know of. Bucherer's a massively well-respected organization. This is not a rant about them, and I do think they're going to make some fantastic changes at Tourneau. But Tourneau pre-Bucherer, when I worked there, Jesus, it was god-awful. And please note, this is from the perspective of an employee, not necessarily a perspective of a buyer. So everything I'm going to say is based on what it was like to work there, not necessarily what it was like to buy a watch there. Firstly, I worked at Tourneau Time Machine, their flagship on 57th Street, New York, on the top floor, which was the high-end floor. So something like Vacheron, Glashütte, Zenith, stuff like that. And we can start with how much money I made. So they were pretty much commission only. I got paid a base salary of $50 a week. You heard that right, $50 a week. And 2 to 5% commission, which was actually a decently high commission. But we never really made any money. They were massively overstaffed. Just that top floor, you could have 5-6 guys working up there a day and you'd get 20 customers. So unless you sold some hardcore watches, rammed them down throats, you weren't making any money. And there were some great salespeople there, not necessarily great watch salespeople, but great people to shove product down people's throats. That's all Tourneau cared about, was the bottom line. Very little training, very little watch knowledge, just get in, get out. And I remember we did monthly reviews, and if you didn't hit your numbers 2 months in a row, you'd get fired. Everything was based on quotas. We were also forced to sell people WPPs, watch protection plans, which is prepaid service and straps, and force people to open Tourneau credit cards. Stuff that was real, low level, stuff you expect Target to do, not stuff you expect from a luxury watch store. And guess what? If you didn't open enough watch protection plans, you were fired. Staff was constantly rolling, like new staff coming in all the time, people quitting. The HR department, like that came in and out. Everybody got fired and new positions. And then except for there's 10 people that have been there since the beginning. Few of them are still there. I don't understand why. But I felt like a used car salesman at a pay here, buy here lot. And my goal was not to educate the consumer or give them a good experience. It was to milk them for as much money as possible, both for the store and also so I could pay rent. I've never seen such a high-pressure sales environment in the watch industry in my life. I've never seen so many people care so little about customer happiness in my life. I've never seen staff so stressed out in my life. It was just an awful place to work. In fact, I only stayed 3 months before I moved a couple blocks away to Vempa in New York, which was the entire opposite. I got paid a pretty great salary, and there was commission, but it was pooled. So everybody wanted to help everybody else out. Every salesperson wanted to help every other salesperson out. If you didn't know a question, you could ask. Because at Tourneau, if I didn't know a question, I asked someone else, and I sold a watch, I'd have to split my commission with them. You couldn't ask for help, or it would be a split. Whereas at Vempa, there wasn't that much pressure, and the commission was based off of how much you made at the end of the month. Once again, I don't know if it's like that now, but it was like that when I was there. And all the salespeople made, good money, and it really helped to help each other out. It was about a good customer experience, knowing watches, answering questions, wining and dining your customer, making them feel special. At Tourneau, it's try on the watch, give me your credit card, get the hell out of here so then I can move on to the next customer because Papa has to pay his rent because you guys are paying me $50 a week. It was, I don't know how to tell you. It felt like working on 47th Street, except it was an authorized dealers, sanctioned by brands. And, it was a slippery slope. Tourneau, quickly garnered a reputation, which it still has today. But I think Bucher is making some great headway in turning that around. It was not known for its customer service. It was not known for its knowledgeable staff because they hired pretty much anyone. You could be working at a gas station, but if you knew how to talk, they'd hire you because they knew the staff would turn over, and it was a revolving door, and they didn't care, or at least I didn't get the impression that they cared about anything but selling as many watch protection plans as possible. They couldn't even calculate my hours right. My paycheck was wrong so many times. It was just an awful experience. Now, obviously not a very educational video, unless you're looking to work in the watch industry, but maybe you find it interesting to know how other people operate their business. Now, I recently went to a Tourneau, and I actually really enjoyed it. The one here in Bal Harbour, staff was very knowledgeable, very gracious. I tried on watches. I didn't feel any pressure. But when I was there, I just felt like I was working in a watch boiler room. Say anything, do anything, doesn't matter if it's true or not, get their money. That's what it was like back in the day. And you know what? I didn't actually perform particularly well in that environment. I'm more of a soft sell. I like to create a relationship, answer questions, and try and offer the best customer service I can so that when someone buys a second watch, they come back to me. Not really a tactic that worked very well back in Tourneau in the mid-2000s, but it was okay. After 3 months, I went to Vempa, and I worked probably one of my favorite jobs I've ever had in my entire life, so shout out to the Vempa Fifth Avenue crew. You guys are fantastic. And for everybody at Tourneau that worked with me back in the day, everybody shared the feelings that I'm sharing, and I'm very happy Bucher is taking over such an iconic name in the American watch industry and turning it around and giving it a new reputation that, I feel like it was just tarnished, and it's a shame. It's a real shame. But yes, Tourneau, the worst watch job I've ever had. Guys, if you found this interesting, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. And of course, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.